guys, I'm ChezPride, and yes, I am well aware today is the big day of the big patch before the new big expansion pack, The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature, officially comes out next week. Now, we used to always get these huge big patches like 2 days before the pack would come out, and typically the bigger the pack, the bigger the patch, and the more new stuff the patch includes into the base game. But I guess they kind of learned over time that about 80% of the time, even when they're fixing a lot of issues, when we get patches, especially bigger patches, they tend to break the game. And a lot of times that break will affect the expansion pack coming out. So I think they've learned to give themselves a little bit of a grace period, and it's done them well over the last few times. They have tend to either messed up less or have more time to fix it. But I figured while that patch was downloading, we could actually make a video focused on the pack itself and what we know that is coming in the pack that's coming out next week, including the stuff that actually got leaked today. Because I kind of figured from just when I skimmed over the patch notes for the patch that I have downloading onto my computer now, that could be a whole video in itself. Like, that's enough content to make an entire separate video. So I decided, instead of trying to squeeze in me reacting to the gameplay trailer and talking about news about the pack, I would just make 2 separate videos. And I have to wait on the patch to download, so I might as well do it while I'm waiting on that. But I pretty much already explained why I haven't reacted to this trailer yet. Pretty much my internet was down unexpectedly for more time than I expected, but it's fine now because I have really good internet back. So it all worked out, but I've already gone into detail over that, so we don't have to go into all of that. We can just go ahead and jump into the video. So even though this is technically a bit of a late reaction time to the trailer itself, I still wanted to watch and react to it with you guys, and that way we could actually talk about all the information it gives, and then we can turn off the sound and kind of go clip by clip and really just see what they have going on in the background. And then, like I said, I have a couple of other sources and websites pulled up that gives us even more information on the pack that is not even included in the trailer. And that is including a new look at the new world map, which I haven't looked at too closely, but I'm really excited to look at because the colors on it, when I just glanced at it, were very pretty. But basically, how this gameplay trailer thing works is it isn't quite like the reveal trailer video. The reveal trailer video is more like a video montage with like music that just kind of shows what's generally coming in the pack. This is like an actual narrator talking about what is going to be coming in the pack, and it normally has video footage that is gameplay matching what is talking about through the narrator. And a lot of times it's told through like a story type of fashion almost, that is told through a certain sim. A lot of times there'll be a townie that's in the town, but sometimes it's just a sim that the team makes up. So we're going to watch this 6.5 minute video, and then we're just going to talk about it, what it tells us, and just really dig into it and review it. So I have tried to make the volume where it won't blow your ears off, but I just want you to know, if you haven't watched it yet and you still want to watch it yourself before we watch it together, this video is on the Sims Team's official YouTube page. That's where I'm watching it from. Okay, but I'm about to ramble on for a pretty long time, so let me just go ahead and be quiet now, and let's actually watch the trailer, get all the info, and then we can talk about it. So I'm just going to be quiet, and we are going to watch together after I press play.
100,000 welcomes to Innisgreen, where the joys are plentiful and the wonders awe-inspiring. Here, it feels like we're truly enchanted by nature. There are many ways to enjoy the bounties of nature, many paths to follow, from a peaceful life outdoors to exploring enchantment and magic. Let's begin at the root, plants and gardening. Caring for these beauties gives you a pure dose of joy.
Zula!
Just water them when dry and look good as new. Oh, except those poor things. Oh, here's a tip. A little fairy dust goes a long way. Enchanted plants water and weed themselves. Oh, they do tend to attract pixies though. Hey, at least they're cute. For those with slightly more gardening expertise, bring more of the outdoors in with potted plants. Place them wherever they fit. Fill the entire room if you want. If you're a fellow fan of foliage, your passion can take you a long way. So go on, name them, talk to them, whatever. I don't judge. You may have noticed a little flicker earlier. Well, the wait is over. Fairies are here. Let's start with the basics, shall we? A mere mortal aspiring to be a fairy. Hey, no need to be alarmed. You called me. Now all you have to do is follow the path laid out for you and poof! Oh, look at this entrance. Subtle, right? Oh, I love witnessing the transformation of a new fairy. There are many ways for you to customise your fairy form. Stunning. Go on, my little style icon. Things are going to be very different for you now. Fairies are truly emotion-driven creatures nourished by the moods of others. But if you don't take care of your needs, well, it's always a pity to see one go like that. Luckily, you can simply consume bottled emotions or absorb emotions from others to fulfill your needs. You do know I'm still here, right? As I was saying, absorbing emotions comes naturally to every fairy, as does shrinking. But many acquire other abilities as well. Fairy dust is simply the sugar on top. The more you use your abilities, the more powerful you become. Fulfill good and wicked desires, like aging someone up. Bringing gnomes to life, or messing with relationships. Oh, we love a little drama. But fairy life isn't for everybody, like this nature nomad. Sure, living off the land may be an adjustment at first, an acquired taste, perhaps. But the more time you spend working on natural living skills, the easier it gets to manage your needs. Seriously, why confine yourself to four walls when nature has been all-inclusive since the dawn of time? But balance is a tightrope, not a throne. If you find yourself wallowing in a bad mood for too long, you begin to teeter into imbalance, experiencing minor symptoms. Ignoring it leads to serious consequences and may mean picking up an ailment. Okay, time to bring in some outside help. With the apothecary skill, you can craft everyday plants into elixirs and cures galore. Like ailment cures, emotion potions that change any mood, or elixirs that fulfill all your needs for a time. Whoa, is that lucky liquid? I know a fisherman who could have used that. If you're inspired to help others with your new skill, there's always a need for more naturopaths. After a quick exam, it's time to determine the best course of treatment. Hopefully, the correct one.
Amo Bodo.
Oh,
Riva, Phoebe.
Tarib, Kiblarn.
Sometimes that means designing a wellness program for a client or offering a plant-based remedy. Of course, not all plants are entirely ordinary. The moody shrub allows you to extract emotions from it. An aura blossom can affect your luck or imbalance as long as you don't anger it. Oh, and the lightning root. I'm sure they're fine. With your natural living and apothecary skills, you'll be able to help so many folks in need. And there's a lot of them in this quiet little hamlet of ours. The blend of natural and magical elements throughout Innisgreen strikes a perfect balance, if I do say so myself. It can be a lot to take in, but luckily the locals are happy to fill you in. Lending a hand is a fast way to make friends and hear all kinds of stories about this place. Plus, earn a few rewards. Speaking of locals, I see you've met my ex, Spruce. Oh, and will you look at that? Our cosmic hourglass is emptied. Well, that's the grand tour. I'd say you're ready to explore this enchanted world of ours. Time for me to dissolve into the mist somewhere. You're gonna do great. Just don't forget to water the plants. Bye!
Okay, wow. So I feel like even though we went into this knowing it was 6.5 minutes long, which is not the longest gameplay trailer we've ever gotten, but it is a pretty long gameplay trailer compared to the ones that are like 3 or 4 minutes long. And I feel like for a 6.5 minute trailer, that was a lot of information. They went into a lot of detail. They popped up a bunch of lists, a bunch of names. They showed off the chart. They gave the names of all the worlds, which I think we knew the names of all the worlds. So even though some of the information was stuff we already knew from previous blog posts and kind of the reveal trailer, it gave so much more detail than I was expecting it to. So we have a lot to break down. I went ahead and muted the video, turned off the captions, so we can just kind of scroll through it and talk about what they were talking about during the time and really look at the background things. So obviously we knew what the pack was kind of already about, you know, gardening, nature, fairies, magical enchantment type world. We knew that gnomes were coming in it, like more gnome stuff. We did not exactly know that plant sims were going to be expanded upon, but they have been announced that they are officially going to be expanded upon in the Enchanted by Nature pack, which I think a lot of people, including me, were hoping for. So there's a lot to break down here. So I'll just go ahead and get this extra digital content out of the way. These are the items that come if you buy the pack before August 21st. You don't have to buy the pack. That's just typically what they do to get you to buy it before they go on sale. But the items are nice. I like the items. I just don't like the concept of bonus content. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that you're going to miss out if you don't buy it by a certain time. But I always buy it, like, the day it comes out. So it doesn't really affect me. But I do know it affects other people, and it bothers me that it affects other people. But I say that rant way too much, so I won't go into extreme detail again. But let's go ahead and start clipping through. Obviously, we kind of have the fairy world. So we know the world is coming with 3 neighborhoods, one with a fairy kind of aspect, one that's more made for regular just sims that are not occults, and then a world that or a neighborhood that kind of combines both fairies and regular sims, which is kind of the same concept they've been doing a lot here recently. Especially they did that with Life and Death and stuff like that. A lot of this is giving very much Life and Death and Realm of Magic turned into fairies. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting, with a little bit of cottage living. Like, that is very much what I'm getting, especially with the fairy enchantment world. I feel like it's very like cottage living and Realm of Magic, like, combined. You know what I mean? With the Bafelbach type of situation, because it has the the fairies go into the water or like splash themselves with water or something. They do something with the water just like the ghosts do with the Bayful Bog, which I find interesting. But I'm not complaining. Like I do, like, I know probably some people are going to complain that a lot of the world's inspiration isn't very unique compared to other worlds. A lot of people want new, unique worlds. But I think for what the pack is actually about, like the enchantment of it is so far perfect from what I've seen. Especially this beginning shot. Like, look at this rainbow, look at this water. There's this willow tree. I love all the huge plants. We have huge mushrooms in the world. Everything glows and is pretty and sparkly. I just think it's lovely. But let's go ahead and play so you can see the fairy go into the water. So this is Mother Nature. So we knew that there was going to have something to do with Mother Nature and Spruce Almighty, which both of these characters are shown in this trailer. But neither of them are what I really expected. I kind of thought Spruce Almighty might be a plant sim, but I did not expect Mother Nature to look like this at all. I almost wasn't expecting Mother Nature to be an actual sim, but if she was, this is not what I was expecting. I'm not complaining. She's pretty. It's just not what I was expecting. But look at that butterfly dress. That butterfly dress is everything. But we kind of have a look at some of the new cast. We can see the pointed ears. We can see them playing in the enchanted water. And we have it says here, Mother Nature. And basically this is showing that, well, I guess it's going to show a little bit of the world first. It pretty much starts out by a sim becoming a fairy and talking about fairies and whatnot, because that's kind of the big feature. But we have kind of a look at the world here. I think this is the world that's kind of like the in-between world where both fairies and humans kind of collide. You can see one of the probably builds that you can live in. I love the white trees. Like, I know the landscaping is similar to stuff we already have, and a lot of it is a base game landscaping. Like, this is totally base game. This is totally base game. But the things that are new that are probably sadly only coming in debug are gorgeous. But the texture on this house actually caught my eye like right away because it almost looks like scales. I know that's so weird to say, but honestly, just all the wood on like the wooden details in this pack. I think this window and this arch is base game, but these what are these called? Friezes, or I don't know. These things, and then the new columns, pretty sure that's the new roof trim and roof texture. That's a new wall. That's a new column. I'm obsessed with the columns. Like, both of these are absolutely gorgeous. Most of this landscaping is base game. I was really hoping for more new landscaping in build mode, but I don't know how much of that we're going to get because of one of the things that is coming with the patch that came out today. I'll just circle this repeatedly, but we'll talk about it in the next video. But here's a look at some more of the outfits. That's a new hair for sure. Is that a knife and like just stuck in the side of the pants? I had not noticed that. Okay. Anyways, but here you can see the potted plants. We are getting potted plants that you put indoor or outdoors, and they fit on shelves, which is pretty cool. Here's another look at that wallpaper and the column here. Here you can kind of see the gate and fence, but not really. But yeah, here's the intro. Enchanted by Nature. I am very curious if you can actually swim over to this broken down ship. They showed us the broken down ship a couple of times. This is like the world that's specifically not for fairies, and I'm very curious about this ship. But you guys know I do a deep dive into the world, so we will figure that out together once the pack comes out. Alright, so this is a new hair they show off a lot. I actually kind of like this. I'm not a big fan of dreaded hair, kind of just in general. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my taste. But I think this is a really pretty one. Here's that same wallpaper they're using. Like, oh my god, look at this. That is stunning. Like, the tree wavy branches up here between the columns, the new fence, the new stairs, the new stair railing. This is gorgeous. These I know are new plants. So, like, this and all, like, these three right here definitely are new plants. Are we getting new rocks? That looks like new rocks. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so here we kind of have another look at the plants on the roof. And I like the fact that they did the little fencing detail and deleted out the center. This is obviously a house that someone had to build because it is too gorgeous to not be a summer build. It cannot be EA. I do not believe that whatsoever. All right. But she's walking inside. Okay, I am obsessed with this wallpaper. Like, this wallpaper is everything. I want to make a house just based around this wallpaper, honestly. And from just what I've seen peeked into the patch notes, I'm pretty sure we're getting glass walls. Not like windows you can put glass walls on, or windows you can put as glass walls, but like full on just glass walls. I think we can build glass walls now, which was pretty exciting if what I can see from the picture is true. New hanging plants, new shelves that I'm obsessed with, but mushrooms and wooden. We have new decor, including the potted plants. I don't know if you can turn any plant into a potted plant, or because it looks like that some of these indoor plants are like harvestable plants. And then, of course, they have plants that are specifically meant to be in the indoor potted plant that you can spray with water and keep care of. But I wonder if you can turn like any like base game plant into a plant to keep care of just by putting it in a potter, or you have to choose out of the pack. This is what I'm very interested in how the indoor plants work. And I also like the fact that you can hang stuff on the glass walls. That's pretty cool. Also, these leaf rugs I'm obsessed with. They are the perfect purple color. Also, this table is really nice. Okay, this door. Oh, that rug has a unicorn on it. Unicorn. Okay. Ooh, when she moved, we got this little stump. I wonder if that's a fairy house or just a stump. I'm curious. You can see her keeping care of her indoor plants. There's a little mushroom dude. That's adorable. Oh my goodness. Okay, and here is our first look at upgraded plant stems. You can kind of see throughout the trailer the different ways we can customize them now. Obviously, they look different structure-wise a little bit. You can make their skin more customizable now. Before, you couldn't really layer like skin details or tattoos or much on top of them. Now you can. You can. They definitely are going to be expanded upon. I'll read a little bit of an article later on exactly how they're spending on them in the pack. Unfortunately, all the expansion upon plant stems is coming with the pack, not in a free base game update, which I'm not happy about, but I am happy they're getting expanded upon, even if it's just a little bit. But they had to make plant stems a little bit more functional because they wanted to make Spruce Almighty a plant stem. But look at the little acorn man and the little bee. Oh my god, so cute. Here's that same little mushroom again. All right. Oh, and are we just not? I guess I'm just not going to trust the hat. I already talked about it in another video, but still, that hat is just bizarre, man. That hat is just bizarre. All right, but here we're just kind of, I thought they were going to talk about the fairies like right at first, and then go back to the fairies later. But I guess I forgot they just showed them and then didn't actually talk about them. But they did start with the indoor plants. I do remember that now that I'm like 30 seconds into it. Okay, but love this bench. Love these hanging plants. I'm wondering if this is a fairy house, just a shelf plant, or a functional plant you can keep care of. I don't know, but I'm obsessed with this plant too. Like, the plants in this pack are good. Here is a look at the new kitchen counters with some of the dead plants. So this is what the plants look like if they're dead, and you can either bring them back to life with your needs or fairy dust, which I think you're able to collect from fairies if you're not a fairy, which is really convenient. Here we kind of have a look at one of the upper cabinets. I am obsessed with this wall. Like, I have a series I want to do. I've actually been wanting to do it since Pride, but then fairies was announced. So I was like, I'm going to wait till fairies come out to do this series because it just seems too perfect not to have a fairy do it. So I think we may use this wallpaper in this new series. I have already put another wallpaper down because I've half built the house. But now looking at this one, this wallpaper is almost too perfect. It's the perfect color. Also obsessed with this mirror. Here we have some tables that are like display shelves almost. That's really nice. You can kind of see the plants sparkling here. They were talking about how enchanted plants can water and weed themselves. So I guess the fairy dust could either, one, bring them back to life, or two, make them to where they would never die again, which would be so handy. Like, oh my god, if you could get that just from fairy dust from a fairy and didn't even have to be a fairy to do that, that would be actually insane. Alright, love the hanging plants. Here we have a butterfly window, a lot of butterfly stuff. We have the mushroom shelves again. We have like this gallery wall, which is really pretty. I love the little flower in the thing. I kind of hope they have a rose version because, you know, I'm obsessed with the furniture, though. Like the little low-lying tables on all the flat woods. And here we kind of have a first look at one of the new enchanted plants. There's specific enchanted plants that do specific things. But when you enchant plants, you can attract pixies, which, as far as I know, we don't have too much information on pixies yet, but they are a thing, and they're different than fairies. They're kind of like shown as pests. And also, keep seeing this potter with other plants in it. So I'm wondering if this is a separate item that we can put in like these, or if the plant is attached to it. I'm assuming all these pots are separate, and then you can put the plants into it. But maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen yet. Is that a new single rose? I feel like the only single rose we have in the game is the one you can win from a date. That's locked, and it's like a red rose. But this is a purple rose that looks just the same, but nicer. I don't know. Interesting. Also obsessed with the little gardening tools here. Okay, but she's getting attacked by the pixies. And here we have more of the indoor gardening stuff and some of the new plants. You can see some of the base game plants are here in some of the potters, but then there's the new plants. I'm obsessed with this plant. I've seen it in a couple different colors now. Here are those leaf rugs I said I was really obsessed with. Here's the big butterfly door. Is this a rug or a floor tile? I feel like that has to be a floor tile. It looks like it's like grass with rocks on it, but it looks like really low quality in this picture. I hope it looks better. But I do kind of like this rock. I just feel like the rock flooring is very flat, especially compared to like this wallpaper. I don't know. Personal opinion. Alright. But you can see here that the mom and I'm assuming son, possibly brother, who knows, is gardening together. You can kind of see some of the new kids stuff, including a new kid hair. This is all just base stuff, but they did make it where you can name houseplants. Now I'm really hoping that you can also name regular plants, and a lot of that has to do with, like, I don't know if I would name my plant silly names, but if I could, like, label it something, that would be really helpful. I don't know. The gardening needs a lot of tuning up in general, And I think that this is a feature that they probably can't go wrong with, because I feel like every time we get to name ability to name an object, like we never get glitches with it. So it's a small way that they can stretch it, but not have it break, I feel like. Also, this plant again. But he is naming the plant. Also, I'm loving the tooth. I don't know if like we're getting a missing tooth for a child, or if this is overlapped with growing together and he's like missing a tooth from getting a tooth pulled. Not sure, but I would be excited if we got like a new missing tooth swatch for the kids in this pack specifically. Also, look at the top of this table. That's so pretty. All right. But it looks like we have compliment plant on photosynthesis skill. So you can talk to the plant in more detail now, is pretty much showing. And look at these prints in the back. That is so pretty. And these windows. I'm obsessed with this, everything on this table pretty much. All right. I also love the arm piece. All right. Now are we talking about fairies? I'm not. Yep. Okay. So this is where they start talking about fairies. Okay. Saw fairies at the very beginning and I was like, oh, they're going to start out with fairies. And I was like, well, technically they do, but they cut it off short. But as you can see, they can shrink and grow into 2 different sizes, and fairy size and regular sim size. And look at them. Look at him. So this is our very first look at the fairy. Let's watch him grow large again. Okay, so bam, bam, bam. Pretty seamless interaction, honestly. I love all the new skin colors they're showing. We're definitely getting some more crazy skin colors, which I was really hoping for, which I'm really happy about. Now if they could just do it with hair colors. But it looks like we are getting a lot of accessories, and I'm seeing a lot of the same accessories on different hairs, which really excites me because it makes me hope that pretty much all the headpieces are separate from hairs, because a lot of like the headpieces, like for example in Wedding Day, this is what I feel like is one of the biggest flaws in Wedding Day, is that they made the veil attached to a certain hair. They didn't give us a veil that detaches and you can put on any hair. And that was a huge downfall on their part. But now I'm seeing like different crowns and like flower crowns and horns and antlers and stuff like that aren't attached to certain hairs. And I'm really excited about that. But look at these wings. The wings are so pretty. I love that we can customize the wings so much too. Here's a kind of a look at the world in the background. But oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with the fairies. Even the male fairies are really cute. Okay, so here she kind of is curious about becoming a fairy. I guess she saw the fairy and she just decided she wanted to become one. So she is following the fairy story aspirations. That's one of the new aspirations we're getting. We're getting several new aspiration traits and skills, which I'm very happy about. But pretty much from what they're showing, it looks like you plant this plant and then you can summon Mother Nature. I hope there's kind of an easier way to do it, but it looks like you have to grow the plant. And this is a closer look of Mother Nature. Honestly, I know you guys have no idea who my mom's friend Destiny is, but in the face she looks like Destiny. I feel like this would be my mom's friend Destiny as a plant sim, as Mother Nature, with but Destiny has way more curly hair. Like she'd have like the crazy wild hair, not the pulled back slick hair. I don't know, but in the face it's the same. I don't know why I went on about that. You guys don't care. But I love the headpiece for Mother Nature. It's just the outfit, I feel like it's like could be more Mother Nature-y. I don't know. But I like the fact that she just is giving us a potion. And it said that the potion will like lead your way. So I'm assuming like once you drink the potion, you're either teleported to the water or your sim just walks directly there. I'm not exactly sure how that would work if you drank the potion outside the world. because it looks like you drink the potion and go straight there. I guess maybe a possibility you drink the potion and then you have so much time to go to the water to become a fairy. But basically this works like the Bayful Bog, like I said earlier, where they click become a fairy, they do some stuff with the water, have a big transformation, which is a beautiful transformation, and then all of a sudden they're the occult type. So this is her in her first little fairy form. The outfit is super cute, but I don't know if it gives fairy vibes to me. It gives more like summery beach vibes to me. But I'm obsessed with the tattered wings. That's really exciting. I love the hair. Like, I've already pointed out this hair, but now I'm getting a closer look at it and noticing there's braids in it, which makes me love it more. And look at just like the pretty fogginess of this world. I think it's so pretty. I'm also obsessed with all the nails they're showing. Alright, here's some of the Creative Sim stuff. I did actually want to look at the wings, but a lot of the Creative Sim stuff I'm going to kind of just like play for you guys, because I do want to give like a genuine first reaction to the outfits. Like, I know I'm looking at the outfits in the trailer, but I'm trying not to look at like, every swatch of every outfit, you know what I mean? So we'll just, right quick, I just want to look at the wings they play through. So we had the butterfly wings, we had these big fairy-esque skinny wings. Every time I double click too fast, I accidentally full screen. My bad. But look at the swing, like the torn parts of it with like the fact that you can paint with like luminous paint, and because we're getting like luminous tattoos and or they're calling glowing tattoos. And you can put like glowing effect on your wings, and you can paint them however you want. I think you can make them either see-through or not see-through from kind of the options I'm seeing. Like, we can kind of see here some of the more options. It looks like pretty much they all looked gray out at first, and then you can kind of choose what colors you want, which is really nice. And then obviously go into paint mode and customize them completely. Okay, obviously it's going too fast for me to pause on every single wing, but we got like a lot of the wings are very butterfly-esque, but I like all the ones that have like torn patterns. I don't know. But here they kind of show the wing paint mode, pretty much the same as every other paint mode we have for werewolf, dogs, cats, horses, all of that. That it pretty much looks exactly the same. I'm seeing like a lot of the exact same prints on there. Which is a little sad, but I like the way it works on the wings. Like, I think it looks really pretty with the wings. I do like all the new skin tones, too. I don't like this hair, but I like all the new skin tones, like I said. I think the makeup is really nice. Here's some of the head accessories I was talking about. Look at those antlers. Okay, so that went through really quick in Creative Sim, but like I said, I didn't want to look at it too closely, but I did like what I saw. Here's some of those glowing tattoos I was talking about. I'm obsessed with the horns. The fact we are getting horns is amazing to me. I didn't think we would ever get horns. Granted, I kind of wish we had some more options, but I'll take what I could get. Also, the swing set is super cute. Okay, so here they're bringing up the fairy needs. Also, this plant's really nice. Sorry, I just keep looking at the world. But basically, we have the fun, the social, the hygiene, and the energy. But we don't have hunger. There's one more missing. Because there's normally 6. What other one am I missing? Sleepiness? No, that's sleepiness. Okay. I'm blanking on my Sims knowledge right now. Hunger, sleep, social, hygiene, fun, bladder. Okay, so we don't have bladder or hunger on here. Instead, we have emotional force. And pretty much the way they explained it is you have to absorb emotion to keep yourself alive. So kind of how like vampires have to absorb plasma to stay alive, even if they drink it from a plasma pack instead of an actual sim. These sims, the fairies, have to absorb emotion. I'm assuming it makes you feel whatever emotion that sim was feeling, because later on they showed the fairy woohoo and they like are absorbing the energy and then they woohoo. So I'm assuming that's how it works. But I think that's interesting. I do like the fact that you can buy emotion potions or you can like absorb them from a certain plant. Probably you're going to have to work up to that plant, I would assume, in gameplay. But I still like the fact that there's easier ways to do it than taking it from Sims. But it's still cool that your fairies can die if you don't do it. But yeah, here you can see it says regenerate emotional force. And they are kind of taking in the emotion and zapping. And this is the death, the fairy dying if they don't keep care of their emotional. Oh my god, that's so sad. Hold on, I want to watch that again. I'm like, that's so sad. Let me watch it again. All right. I really like Sims that. Okay, looks like they get dizzy and they kind of look like they're starving and dying of exhaustion at the same time. That's kind of what it looks like to me. Also, guys, if you're an Andrew Arcade fan or were an Andrew Arcade fan back in the day, does this not slightly give off Puck from a distance? Like the outfit itself, like this, like I know the details are different, but the outfit and the wings kind of give me Puck vibes, which I'm very excited to be saying that my newer series that I'll eventually come out with, I want to come out for Pride Month, the character very much gives Puck vibes, which is why I was like, oh my god, he has to be a fairy. But here we are, him dying. I like the fact that he flitters when he dies, and then his sparkle goes away. That's so sad. I kind of wish you could have it where you could clap the fairies back alive, but that's just the Disney girl in me. But here's a look at the wing. I love the wings. I'm obsessed with the wing. The glowing tattoos I have mixed emotions about, but the ears and the glowing wings and the horns and the antlers and the crowns, I'm so obsessed with. The outfits, I have mixed emotions on all of them. And it looks like we also have new teeth. That looks like new teeth. That when you pause on her, let's see. Yeah, that was new teeth. Okay, I accidentally full screen it, but oh well. But as you can see, this sim is absorbing her flirty vibe, and then they're woohooing. So this is kind of like the ghost woohoo, but you can literally see the fairies like flittering and kissing, and then they turn into a heart. Oh my god! And then of course they fall on the floor just like the vampire woohoo. The like pretty much a lot of the occult woohoos and the dumpster woohoo, you end up falling on the floor. It's really interesting how they do that. I think even the new blanket woohoo does that too. I say new and it's like over a year old. I don't feel like Love Struck is over a year old, okay? I just don't. I'm also really obsessed with this sim. I kind of hope this sim is actually in the world because I think she's really pretty. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of her hair, I think she is pretty herself. Same with this sim. But she's a little bit more ordinary. Oh, and this here they were showing that like fairies can, I mean, obviously with the living off the land that we've been seeing that's coming in the pack, we could see that you can sleep on the ground now and keep care of your needs out in nature. But if you're a fairy, you can shrink into things and sleep on them, or shrink into things and interact with them. I think the fairies can play in the dollhouse. They showed earlier a fairy playing in the sink. I just think it's really cute, especially that since they're so detailed little. Like in The Sims 3, the fairies almost looked like blobs when they were small. It was just like a speckle of light. But you can actually see like the fairies like up close and personal, and it's just super detailed, especially in small items, which this dollhouse is super cute. This is a new dollhouse. It has the new wallpaper in it, which is adorable. But she's like literally sleeping in the dollhouse and she can play in the dollhouse. I'm assuming maybe it kind of works like fairy houses. They didn't really address the fairy houses in this trailer very much, which I feel like the fairy houses were one of the major features that I was excited about. So I'm a little sad that they didn't talk more about the tree house or the fairy houses. I'm hoping the fairy houses, we did see a clip where they were partying a fairy house. I kind of hope you can woohoo in a fairy house like you could in The Sims 3, But we do know we are at least getting the fairy and the air woohoo. But like I said, you can shrink down and play in objects as a fairy and sleep in objects. It looks like you can just like magically sprout a plant. And it looks like it's like all the way grown too. Or at least mostly grown. Like it's not just a dirt pile. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming you have to like unlock that through a skill tree. Also, look at this archway in this gate. That is so pretty. But this is one of the new mystical plants. So that's one of the new abilities. Here's one of the new gnomes that you can apparently bring to life, which is kind of scary. Also, look at this house on the hill. That is so pretty. This world is so pretty. Oh yeah, here's the fairy abilities. So it looks like with this quote-unquote skill trees that they're calling fairy abilities, most of the occults, not all of them, and we've gone into this discussion, we know how I feel, but some of the occults, most of them have skill trees, and a lot of the more recent skill trees we've gotten, even with like stuff like businesses and stuff, we have like different paths you can take. So for fairies, it looks like you can take the path of manipulation abilities, emotion abilities, nature abilities, and then there's a customization tab. So I'm wondering if these are like the 3 paths, like manipulation, emotion, and nature, and then these just add on to like any of them. I'm very curious about that because this one looks different than these, you know? And also, manipulation has 6, emotion has 5, nature has, is that 7? 7, I think. Yeah, 7. And then the customization actually has 8. So each category has a different number. Obviously, we can't really see what they actually are. We can just only see the icon and the fact that is a 5 skill rank tree, but it doesn't actually show us like the name, but it does show us some of the abilities in game. And this is aging another one a sim up, so you can literally just age a sim up with magic, which I feel like is a gateway into another death. Not like a new death, obviously you can age your elder up at any time and they will instantly die. I don't do it a lot because I feel like it's very cheaty. But I feel like if you're doing it as a fairy, like trying to kill the sim, that's a good way to tell a story of like murdering someone is like aging them up repeatedly. Also, I'm seeing like later on a plant that you can get electrocuted by. If you get electrocuted by it too many times, you probably die. You know, I'm seeing a lot of potential deaths here besides just the one they talked about dying from not keeping care of your fairy need. Also, Dawn aged into an elder is hilarious to me. Oh, okay. Okay, so it looks like when it comes to bringing gnomes to life, you can ask them to do a couple of other things other than what you can with the Harvest Fest gnomes. Those kind of just give you seed packets, and you just have to make them happy. This one you can specifically bring to life. The other gnomes are already alive, but if you bring them to life, I guess satisfy them because later on you see one with like a little halo above their head. So I guess if you give them the right thing and like earn their friendship, you can probably ask for cleaning, ask for gardening, ask for protecting, which I find very interesting. Like, what are we being protected from? Excuse me. Or for upgrade and repairs. So as much as I hate the gnomes, if I could easily friend them and then just have them do all of this, that would actually be fantastic for challenges. So, interesting thing to think about. Ability, bring gnomes to life. Okay, so you actually have to get the ability as a fairy. You can't do it as a regular sim. Okay, see the little halo? I feel like you have to like almost give them something. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But oh my god, I love the fact that they're screwing with Jeffrey and Nancy. Like, go figure. But that's kind of some of the disruptive features. And oh my god, look at this like pergola archway thing. That is so pretty. Here's some more of the swatches on the new plants. So one of the more normal outfits. I'm not a big fan of this hair. I don't know if it's the hair or the headband, but I'm not a big fan of it. Also, this is okay, this is probably just a regular rug. I see a square rug laying down on the floor. I'm just like, is that a new rug that we can do stuff on? But no, it's probably just a decorative rug. But it looks like we have I don't know if that's like a dresser wardrobe or like something to dry clothes on. We have another look at the kitchen set. We can see the cabinets up here with the countertop. Looks like we have a new backsplash or maybe a new wall texture. I don't know, but it looks good as an outdoor and indoor kitchen. Here's a new sink. This is kind of a standalone sink. That's fun. Here's another new gnome. We have new garden utensils. Here's that new bench again. I'm obsessed with the water, and I'm hoping we get new water swatches, but maybe I'm just hoping too far. And then we have a purple tree that's really pretty. Okay, and here they're talking about foraging. So basically, they are introducing being able to literally live off the land if you have a certain skill. So basically, you have to hone in a skill. I forget exactly what the skill is called, but basically, you have to hone in that skill. And as you increase the skill, you'll be able to start doing things like summoning pea bushes and sleeping on the ground wherever you want. And basically, you don't even have to find a dirt pile. You can just dig in a random spot on the ground and find items, which is what it is showing here. Is her foraging on the ground and her finding a frog. Also, you can apparently eat raw fish and frogs now, which I find absolutely disgusting. I don't think I will be having my sim do that unless I have to. But you can see her here. She's laying on the ground. I like the fact that they kind of set up a little spot around here. Like it's purposely meant to be her sleeping spot. I don't know. But as you can see her going through the day and kind of just doing her things. I like the fact that they're like triple speeding this. And she woke up refreshed and feeling lovely. Probably because she gained the skill a little bit higher. I'm not seeing really a new water decoration, which I'm a little disappointed in. But a lot of the other plants are pretty. Alright. Here is her bathing in the water. That's something else you can do. I like the fact that it's in her underwear. I didn't just like pixelate her body. I don't know. Maybe they don't always, and sometimes they're pixelated, but I don't know. I feel like some Sims just don't want to be naked out in front of everyone. Even if they're living in nature, they don't have to be naked in front of everyone. If the water is not deep enough, you know? Alright. But she's just dancing, chilling with her plants. We have some Sims fishing here. We have another look at some of the more masculine outfits here, some of the more masculine hairs. Unfortunately, I think that's a tattoo we already have, but I'm pretty sure all of these clothes are new. And I think this is where they're talking about the luck system. So apparently there's a new luck system, which I have been wanting a luck trait. But I guess this is kind of a step up, but also just the luck and the imbalance system both sound like so much to handle. And I kind of hope you can like turn it off. More so, I hope you can turn the imbalance system off because that can physically make you sick. Unless there's an easy way to cure it. Because I know we're getting like, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I know we're getting the apothecary skill where we can make elixirs and elements and whatnot. But I kind of hope you can just buy them and not have to make them yourself. Because or like it would be really nice if you could just go on your phone and order it just like you can other medicine, but I don't know if that's the case. I do like the fact we're getting a new career with the apothecary skill. I will be playing with it. I just don't, for everyday gameplay, I don't want that. You know what I mean? Okay, but back to luck. It says, Rory can't be totally sure, but he feels like bad luck is looming over him today. So I guess you get like little pop-ups saying if you feel lucky or unlucky, and that kind of affects the outcome of whatever you're doing. That's how I'm assuming it's working. And this one says, Anthony is sure he can feel good luck shining brightly on him today, and as you can see, he caught the fish. Please don't eat the fish. Okay, and here's where they're talking about the imbalance. So it looks like we're getting a new bar. I'm assuming this is going to be in the tab where everything is. But it looks like if you're in the green, you're probably not going to get sick. like at all. And then once you get in the red, you're going to get sicknesses. And the sicknesses are really weird. I guess that's why they're called ailments, or is the ailments the illnesses? I'm assuming. So they're all like really weird. Like they're not like, strep throat or something like that. They all have a negative and positive effect on you, apparently. So yeah, ailment. So like gnomler. So I'm assuming you would be able to talk and attract gnomes and kind of be able to communicate with them more. But then there's also like a negative part to it. Obviously, I mean, your skin's all patchy and red and gross. Like, you're obviously sick. So it's obviously not a good thing. But they also, I feel like it's like sickness with a twist. Oh yeah, there's summoning a bunch of angry gnomes. Also, look at the roof here and the columns. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's a rug again. Alright. So here we are talking about the apothecary skill. So I'm assuming this guy is probably in the world. He's probably like the main apothecary guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was just made for this. Also, I don't know how to feel about the flower beard. I like the idea of the flower beard, but I don't like how it actually looks. I feel mean saying that, but I don't. I'm sorry. I do like the hat that matches it, though. And I love the hair. I've been wanting another hair with this texture for a while. Also, we've seen this building a lot. This is definitely a building that we can probably live in, I hope. With how much we've seen it, I hope it's not just a shell. I think this is a house we can live in, though. But here's talking about the elixir enthusiast. So I'm assuming this is the aspiration you follow if you want to do the apothecary skill. There's also the whole apothecary at home career that they're talking about. So you can eventually have Sims come to your house and you can like decide what they're sick with, and you can treat them or give them a natural remedy. You can make the stuff out of the stuff you grow. I love the little poster here in the background. Like, all these posters are really cool. I've been way more plant prints in the game for a while now, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. And this literally looks like just a regular plant we already have, just in the new planter pot, like indoor planter pot. Also, look at the purple on this bookshelf. That's really nice, and this window is really nice. But as you can see, we can craft, mentor, apply the apothecary skill, purchase advanced apothecary ingredients, or open. So I'm assuming this is the apothecary table. So it looks like you can study cures and probably learn more cures as you go. You can craft the cures you learn, and then you can teach with mentoring. Also, here's another look at that wallpaper I really like. Also, look at this stone wallpaper. Kind of the same opinion I had as the floor. It's very flat. I like the coloring on it. It just seems very flat. Also, I'm obsessed with the unicorn rug. I hope that's a hint. Please be a hint. I know we kind of have unicorns in Horse Ranch, but not really. Not really. Okay. But this is also a new wall hanging plant, which is really pretty. Here's the Morn Pestle. It looks like here you can kind of have a bunch of different things in craft. So we have emotional void cure. We have, just naming a few, enhanced eyes, noxious gas. So some of them are probably, kind of mischievous. We have emotional stone. We have a weed drink. I wonder if that makes you pee yourself. That would be fantastic. A cow plant horn. I wonder what that does. Freezer bunny foot. So some of these might be actually ingredients. I don't know. We have a fearless. It just says fearless. Supernatural shield. So I guess if you don't want to be affected by anyone's or any occult's type of magic, you can like get a shield. That's pretty cool, actually. That's actually really cool. That's one of the higher skill ones, but it's cool. Lemon Morn Pestle, and you string in the potion. Okay, and luck. Knock on wood. Here's good luck. So it looks like there's also luck potions, which is pretty cool. Also, I think they said if you want to change your luck, like you have bad luck, that you can like summon Bruce Almighty. Pretty sure I read that somewhere. Which they show him in the trailer here in just a minute. But we have a herbal house call. So I'm assuming this has to do with the career. So it says, welcome to Willow's first day as a naturopath healer. You begin to receive clients today and have the opportunity to put your skills to use. You must be as thorough as possible to diagnose them with the correct ailment or issue to avoid sending patient home uncured. Remember, ailments aren't always the cause for the patient's visits. Sometimes you'll need to dig a bit deeper to find the problem. So I'm wondering if like some of the ailments are like emotion based. Well, I mean, I know like you get imbalanced and you can get sick. So I'm assuming like maybe some of the cures have to do with emotion, the emotion potions. Just a guess, really. But I kind of hope like, I'm assuming this is going to be a full-on career where like every day you're going to have to play at home. But I'm kind of hoping it's like not so intense that you can't do other things, because I feel like a lot of the times the careers that are at home careers like just give you so much to do, or on the flip side give you like nothing to do. It kind of depends on what pack. So I kind of hope it's kind of a middle ground here. Here's a look at some more of the furniture, which we've seen most of this. I haven't seen this rug yet, but I don't really like that rug. I like the fireplace though. Here's a look at kind of like the Hobbit type build they kind of did. Not exactly Hobbit, but it looks similar to a Hobbit type build. Here's a lot of that same furniture we've been seeing. He's just like kind of curing the Sims. So it looks like workday ends at 5. You need to cure a sick sim and conduct client intake is some of the options we have to do. Also, you have to ask them what's wrong. I'm assuming you have to like take their temperature or something. I don't know. But he's taking notes. He's just listening to their complaints. I love that this looks like she's turning into stone. That looks really cool. Okay, it looks like the options it said there was, if I could not stop okay, it says we can express empathy or revitalize Abby's needs. So I guess that's some of the things we can do to kind of try to figure out what she's sick with. I don't know. It looks like he got it wrong though, which is what makes me nervous. That's why I don't like playing the doctor career, because it doesn't give you like a sure answer. And with the doctor career, like if you give the patient the wrong medicine, you could possibly kill them, which is fun sometimes. But when you're trying to actually be a successful doctor, trying to remember which medicine goes with which ailment, it just gets a little confusing when you have to memorize a certain one for each. And it doesn't tell you even when you get to a higher skill. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a little bit easier than the doctor career, honestly. All right, but that's where it went wrong. And maybe it looks like this is... Okay, this is where they're introducing the new plant. So this is the plant that fairies can absorb emotions from. This one is the lightning one. I'm assuming you get your sim shocked by it enough, it'll die. And then I forgot exactly what this one was. They talk about it, but I don't remember 100% what they said. Okay, this one's absorbing the emotion. This one, wait, hold on. Let me turn on the, can affect your luck or imbalance. Okay, so it looks like if you're having bad luck or low imbalance, you can get this and maybe it like makes it go higher. I don't know. And he's just gardening there. Let's see. Oh, there's him getting shocked. I love that thing gets shocked. Oh, those are new plants. Hold on. We haven't seen a lot of new, like, plants that are being grown that are new, but these are new flowers for sure. Like, both of these are. Okay, cool. So we are getting some new, like, harvestable plants as well, which I'm really excited about. Okay, there is him making an elixir for himself. Okay, so here's some of the looks at the elixirs. So we have of some of the ones we saw earlier. We have Lucky Liquid. Trying to figure out some we haven't saw yet. they have gnome lore cure. So it looks like if you don't like gnomes, you can get rid of them. Emotional void cure. Oh, that hits too hard. Balance mind, and you can literally make it and give it to the person, and they'll be like, oh, thank you. Okay. But now we're moving on to the world. So it looks like the human world that has a lot to do with gnomes and fishing and has pretty much no fairies. I mean, I'm sure it has fairies in it, but it's not supposed to be known for fairies, is the coast of Admore. And of course, this is supposed to be a Irish themed world, if you could not tell from the voice of the lady in the voiceover, which honestly, I feel like she could have sounded a little less Valley, but she is a lot less cringe than most of the voices we listen to, so I'll take it. Okay. But here's that ship that I'm obsessed with. It has like is that a mermaid? I can't tell if that's supposed to be a fairy or a mermaid, but it has like a mystical creature on the front. It looks like a mermaid, but it's a fairy pack, which is why it questions. Okay, it looks like the people are standing on the dock looking at it, so maybe you can't swim over to it. Maybe you can just stand and read about it and have it like in the background. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a pretty cool place to propose. It's the only reason I wondered. We have this huge giant gnome statue here that we've seen a couple of times. But it looks like you can interact with it, which is interesting. It's also next to a food stall. This looks like it would be like a rabbit hole building. All right. It looks like the in-between world where fairies and regular Sims combine is called Spruce Tree Grove. So I feel like this has to be one of the... Maybe this is not a lot you can live in, but a lot you can visit. Because there's people coming in and out of it, and there's places to sit on the outside. I just love the fact there's a tree coming through it. That does make me question if it's a shell, though, because the tree's going through it. But if you can't go inside this, I'm going to be really sad. All right, here's a couple of the... oh my God, I keep fast forwarding too far back. Okay, here's one of the other builds. I'm pretty sure one of the Simmers did. I love this little... my mind is blanking, like a pergola area almost. This gazebo area I'm really digging. I love the roof on it. I love the way the roof is done in this lot in general. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's glass walls. Very excited about that. All right. Oh my God, just go back like... Oh my God. Of course I pressed the back arrow and it doesn't like go as far as I want. This kind of gives like castle vibes. I know it's not a castle and it is not meant to be a castle, but it gives castle vibes. Also, this dress I was not expecting in the pack, but it's cute. But this is a little mushroom circle. Oh my God, that is great. That is actually fantastic. I didn't notice that before. Okay, now we're looking at the fairy world, which is Everdew. So this is that water that you can turn into a fairy. Oh, okay. So here is the fairy house. I didn't see this before. So you can see the fairy going into the fairy house. It didn't really show any interactions though, like it did before. It looks like there's a Pacific fairy like nightclub bar. I'm obsessed with the bar here. Like that background is so pretty. Also, that fairy is so pretty. Like I'm obsessed with this fairy. I don't know. Also, this is very much giving Prince Hans vibes. Let's hope not. But here's some of the new... here's one of the hairs we've been seeing a lot. Both these Sims, actually, we've seen a lot. Between the... Like, this Sim we've seen in earlier trailers, and this Sim we've seen a lot in this trailer. So it's kind of cool to see them combined. Okay, so here they're talking about the new traits rating. So we have mystical, which I'm assuming is like you want to help people with apothecary and stuff. I don't know. And then this is him summoning Bruce Almighty. So like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure with Bruce Almighty, you can like ask to change your luck, but you can summon him with a tree And then it gives the lore that Bruce Almighty and Mother Nature are exes, which I think is hilarious. I mean, Bruce Almighty is obviously a theme of Bruce Almighty, but I don't know. I think it's hilarious. And also, the face in the stump kind of reminds me of the face on the wishing well from the Romantic Garden Stuff pack. But I'm obsessed with this plant sim. And look, you can give them beards. Oh my god. So cool. You actually, it looks like there's like literally like blotches on the skin. I'm really excited about this. I'm actually really excited about this. He's a little too muscular though. Just a little too muscular. I wonder if you can have a baby with him. I know you can't have plant sim babies, but you can have babies with plant sims. They just don't become plant sim babies. So I wonder if you can have a baby with him. I want to try. I want to try. All right. So here's a fairy messing with another fairy, just kind of joking around. There's someone eating a raw fish. Gross. Someone's shaking hand. I guess they're all just being friendly. Okay. Well, that Mother Nature just poofed and disappeared. But that is pretty much the end of the trailer. So, like I said, there was a lot of information given, a lot of stuff shown in the background. So that's all the information they gave in the trailer. But like I said, I have a couple of different sources pulled up for us to look at that just pull out some of the smaller things that are coming in the pack that weren't exactly 100% obvious in the trailer. So the first page with information on it that I actually want to look at with you guys is the pre-order page on the EA app, which a lot of people I feel like don't look at this when it's pre-order stage. I feel like this is something most people look at like once the pack has come out. And I'm not showing you this page to try to get you to pre-order the pack. I think you should only order the pack if you want to. We all know that pretty much any pack that The Sims comes out with are going to have its bugs and glitches and faults. But you kind of just have to look past that and see what you want most. Obviously, I buy most of the packs, but this one I've been really excited about just in general, because I really like the concept of it, and I'm really excited about fairies because I'm an occult player. So, I'm not saying pre-order it. I used to pre-order packs back in the day, but back in the day, when you pre-ordered, you saved $5 because the packs were actually $45. And then they made it to where it was just $39.99 no matter what. But now it's $39.99 plus tax, which makes it about $45 again. So the pricing's gone weird with it, but now pre-ordering, there's literally not really any benefit to it other than you can just buy it ahead of time if you already have the money. So I'm not saying go and order immediately. I'm just saying there is a pre-order page and it has a lot of information. And a lot of the like pictures and video clips I've already shown off in other videos. Like I've pretty much gone through all of these in extreme detail. And I think we've kind of read this description, but now that we have an official pre-order page, because when I was looking at this stuff before, it was on websites and it wasn't like on the official EA app. Now that it's on the official EA app, we actually have like actual pictures, which I'm not going to go through these pictures because I like to do a first reaction as much as I can to build and buy and create a sim while still knowing the features, but the actual items I don't like to know too much ahead of time, especially all the swatches. So these items are here if you want to look at them. I'm not really looking at them. I'm just kind of looking at the view all button, but they are there if you want to click view all and look at all the items that are coming in the pack. But under that is what I want to look at. So this whole pack has like multiple tabs of information. So we have 4 actual tabs. So we have the nature tab, the magic tab, the balance tab, and the enchantment tab. The nature Magic and Balance all have 3 tabs within their tab, and then the enchantment tab has 2 tabs within it. And they all have like paragraphs of information and pictures. So there's a lot we can go over and get from this. And this is probably going to be the most information. All the other websites I have are just like some information. So we're going to get the bulk of our information from here. But let's go ahead and start reading. We're just going to go in order. We're going to go nature first is lifestyle. So it looks like this picture is someone just bathing in the water, which we saw earlier in the trailer. But it says, feel at home in nature. The natural living skill is about becoming more comfortable outside to the point where your sim is happy living in the great outdoors, as they would be with a bed and plumbing. Sims can meet their needs in nature by sleeping on the ground, relieving themselves in a privy bush, talking to nature, eating food they forage or catch, among other things. Sims may find things uncomfortable at first, but it will become more comfortable as their skill level increases. So, this is something I'm actually really excited about. I'm thinking about doing like a couple of videos, like series on this. Maybe I could do it in one long video, but I'm thinking like 2 or 3 videos. And I want to do like, not necessarily a rags to riches, but like a living off the land rags to riches type of situation where we start with nothing and just work our way up until we completely max out the natural living skill. Because as you go through the natural living skill, you unlock even more to do. Like obviously, I think you can probably start with like foraging and stuff, but I think after a while you can like summon privy bushes, and I think you have to be a certain skill to like sleep on the ground. So I'm very excited to see how the skill building in that skill goes. All right, the next tab is personality. It says try 3 new traits. So here's a look of a picture we already saw a while ago, because I remember the walls. But it shows the new apothecary table. But it says plant lovers are happiest surrounded by greenery and will sink into negative moods if they're away from plants for too long. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. I never thought about the plant lover trait having a bad part to it. Huh. Alright, so mystical Sims are empathetic and want to guide others towards more balanced lives. So they'll build their apothecary and gardening skill faster. Okay, that's actually really helpful to know that those Sims build those skills faster. I wonder how they guide others towards balanced lives though. Like, is it just like through conversation? Is it a certain gameplay? We have disruptive Sims are daring individuals who love freedom and excitement, even if it's their fun and sometimes at the expense of others. They build mischief, logic, and charisma faster. Oh, I like that. That's a lot of skills I like to work on commonly, so I'm happy about that one. All right, we have gardening and crafting. So we have a lot of our like indoor furniture and plants here in this picture. But it says, grow just about any plant inside using 4 tabletop plant pots. These pots will fit in medium-sized spaces like on tables or shelves, and you can use them to grow both harvestables and decorative plants. Okay, so it looks like when it says medium-sized spaces, okay, if you are a little Simsy fan, follow with me here. Her shelves in her pack, the Cozy Gamer pack. So the little shelves are a small space, and then the slightly bigger shelf is what they would consider a medium space, because and if you think about the square shelf cubicle, every cubicle is a medium space, but some of the items that fit into that medium space slot through the top of the cubicle because they're taller. So even though the space may be medium, you still have to kind of be aware of the height, especially on like shelves and stuff like that, because you could layer shelves and then put a plant that's super tall but fits because it's medium, but it go through the shelf. So you just got to be careful with the medium fit spaces. But a lot of the Sims team like that because you can fit more objects that way. But it looks like we're getting 4 new tabletop plant pots. And I like the fact that we can do both harvestables and decorative plants. I'm wondering if it's like any decorative plant though. Like, is it going to be specific plants that are decorative? Or can we turn any base game plant into these? I don't know. I think that would be fun. But it says, turn your home into a lush garden. Another way to bring outside inside is the new nature press, which Sims can use to create decor like candles and wall art from the treasure they find in nature. I think that's the thing we saw the kid playing with in the first trailer. So, and that's something that kids can also do. All right, let's move on to the magic category, all about fairies. So, fairy abilities. Develop mystical powers. So, obviously, the picture is of fairies. We have a big normal-sized fairy growing a plant. We have 2 little fairies playing together up top. Well, playing, quote-unquote. We have a lot of the little fairy house decor type objects. We have the new wallpaper with the new vines. Very pretty. But it says, fairy Sims will gain experience by using their powers or performing specific interactions. As they gain experience, they're able to learn abilities like curing elements or bestowing them, changing the moods or luck of other Sims, bottling emotions, creating seeds, and making plants bloom are also examples of fairy skills. Remember, everything has its cost. All magic has a price, dearie. Oh, sorry. But fairies are nourished by emotion, and their abilities cost emotional energy, which we'll need to recharge. So basically, they're kind of playing it as like having to absorb emotion is the downfall of being a fairy. But I think absorbing emotion from other Sims is cool as hell. So I'm not mad about it. Okay, fairy form. So here we have a better look at that fairy that we see a lot in the trailer with the horns and the glowy tattoos. She kind of gives fairy shipper vibes, but maybe that's just me. Anyways, it says style unique fairies. Create fairies with beautiful wings that you can paint freely. New facial presets. Ooh, we're getting... That's actually really exciting that we're getting new facial presets. And skin tones. I'm really excited about that. Glowing tattoos and fairy core fashion will be available. Fairy Sims can have a separate fairy form in addition to their normal Sims form, which is pretty common with most occults that you can create a Sim. Not all of them, but most of them have some kind of alternate form. Think like the werewolf's werewolf form. Think the vampire's like vampiric form. Stuff like that. While Sims can start as fairies and create a Sim, they can also become fairies through a special journey that will have them summoning Mother Nature and visiting enchanted springs. Fairies also have a new woohoo and a new death, emotional starvation. Okay, so it only says 1 new woohoo and 1 new death, which makes me worried that the fairy house you won't be able to woohoo in. I really hope that's not the case, but it just says a new woohoo. So we already know that we're getting the fairy up in the air, spin around, turn into a heart puff, a little woohoo moment. But I really wanted a fairy house woohoo. I was really hoping for that. All right, and then we have fairy dust. So enchanted plants, gnomes, and more. And here's that butterfly dress that I'm obsessed with. The teal is even better. The gnome is kind of creepy with the butterfly wings. Oh, it's so weird. I love the horns, though. I love the horns and the ripped tights. I love that you can go for like an evil fairy vibe very easily. But it says you don't have to be a fairy to use fairy dust. It's enchanting fun for everyone. Use it to bring gnomes to life and have them help around your lot, or enchant plants and objects created with Nature Press. Enchanted plants may be easier to care for or produce a bigger harvest, but they can also attract magical pests called pixies. Fairies create their own fairy dust. Other Sims can ask them for it, and both fairies and non-fairies can find it while foraging or picking up at special locations. So, again, they're not giving us too much on the pixies. I'm starting to think the pixies may not be a huge deal. They're probably just kind of like bugs, really, as how I'm kind of seeing, just like magical bugs that probably like mess with the plants or something. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but with how like nonchalant they're being about the pixies, I don't think they're going to be that big of a part of the pack. But I do like the fact that you can use fairy dust even if you're not a fairy. I think that's very realistic. And the fact you can sometimes find it just while foraging is pretty cool. All right, halfway through. Now we have balance. So the first one is elements. Experience the strange effect. So we have here the sim that we've been seeing in a lot of the trailers, harvesting emotion from this plant. I wonder, I think she turned into a fairy into the first trailer, right? So is she summoning it as a fairy, or can you summon it without being a fairy? Because if you can like bottle emotion as a non-fairy, that'd be pretty cool. So it says, experience strange effects. There are 8 different elements, and they're not all bad. A lot of them depend on your perspective. For example, the luck magnet will build up your Sim's good luck by stealing it from everyone around them. Another element will saddle your Sim with uncomfortable urge to create, and another one will have them feeling emotionally nothing. Elements may be caused by imbalance, caught from ailing Sims, or inflicted through a meddling of a fairy. Okay, so I was right. The sicknesses are weird and to the way that they kind of have negative and positive sides, which is, I guess, what makes them different from sicknesses than elements. With it being an apothecary skill that keeps care of it, I just kind of like relate it to sicknesses, especially with like the skin changing, getting itchy rashes, but it's like almost like a magical sickness. It's kind of weird. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I'm kind of hoping this is something we can turn off, but, you know, maybe not. I just hope it doesn't affect the everyday gameplay too much. I kind of hope this is kind of something that kind of sticks into the pack. I don't know. Maybe once I play with it, I'll feel a little bit different. But I think I'm very curious what all the elements are. I want to go through and find every single element. But once I find them, I don't know if I'll ever want to actually have my Sim feeling them again. You know what I mean? But that leads to the apothecary skill, which is how you get rid of it. So it says craft cures and elixirs, and here we can see our main guy here from the trailer that gives all of the cures and elixirs to people. So it says use new books and the leafy ledge apothecary table to build your apothecary skill. Craft cures for ailments, elixirs that affect the needs or emotions of Sims. Okay, so cures cure ailments, elixirs affect your emotion and needs. Okay, that's the difference. And even an emotion stone. I'm not exactly sure what the emotion stone is. Maybe it like makes your emotions stay at bay. I don't know. There are 22 recipes total. That's a lot, actually. Emotion stones are... Oh, here it is, right here. Emotion stones are limited use items that can siphon emotions from Sims. Emotions can be key ingredients for some of the recipes, and fairy sims can consume them to recharge their emotional energy. That energy will decay more slowly while fairy sims has an emotional stone in their inventory. Okay, so I'm guessing that for a regular sim, the emotional stone is just kind of like a fairy power where you can absorb someone else's emotion. But if you're a fairy, you can also keep your emotion at bay, like I was saying earlier. So I was kind of right. I was half right. All right, and then luck. I'm very curious about this because I have wanted a luck trait since Sims 4 came out. I used to give all my Sims the luck trait and heavy sleeper trait in my Sims 3 gameplay. But here we have just them sitting at the bar. We can see this new dress is gorgeous. I actually really like this dress, but I'm really obsessed with the bar even. But it says, play the odds. Luck affects a Sim's changes and getting positive outcomes from crafting, foraging, socializing with other Sims, and more. Luck even plays a role in whether evil gnomes will show up on your... Oh, the gnomes can be evil. I don't like that. You can check a Sim's luck by looking at their Simology panel. Everything's on the freaking Simology panel. And it can be changed in various ways, like asking Spruce Almighty for help or being the target of a fairy play with luck ability. You can turn off the luck system via... Okay, so you can turn off the luck system, but I actually kind of like the luck system more than I like the elements. Or elements. So I kind of wish we could turn off the elements and not have to turn off the luck. But I guess the luck could get annoying because it can affect you negatively. But I just think the thought of having a lucky sim is just such a fun idea. I don't know. My thoughts. Alright, and then our last tab is called Enchantment. So I think this one's about the world. So, neighborhoods. Explore a world in bloom. So this is kind of our like regular sim neighborhood with the gnome statue and whatnot. And it says, Dacosta Admore is Celtic-inspired town with walkable streets, a giant gnome statue, and a lot of history. It's the most down-to-earth, Innisgreen neighborhood. Spruceberry Grove is a very nature-focused community with a touch of mystical throw-in. And then Everdew is a hot spot for fairy activities where their powers are used openly and even the plants feel fantastical. The Mod's Evil Fairy Hub, a large mushroom, is located here. Explore to discover more enchanting surprises. I wonder if the large mushroom is like a build or if it's like a rabbit hole. I'm very questioning that part. Alright, and then the last tab under the EA app is called Meet Fantastic New Friends. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay. Meet Fantastic New Friends. And this is another picture of the world. We've kind of already seen this picture, or at least we've seen this shot several times, even if it's not the exact picture. You can kind of see someone playing with this tree stump here. These people are talking some of the world. But it says, Mother Nature can be summoned, and she can help Sims on their quest to become fairies. There's also a special glasswood tree statue that summons Spruce Almighty. This variant fellow can help around your lot a lot, or even improve a Sim's luck. You can get your own statue or place it on a lot to summon him more easily. Oh, so it's kind of like Patchy. Oh, that makes me really wonder if I can have a baby with him then. I want to have a baby with Spruce Almighty. Would that piss Mother Nature off? Would she get mad at me for like taking her ex? Drama. Oh my god. That's going to have to be something I test out. But that sounds really exciting that he can help you on your lot. So it's kind of like Bonehilda or Patchy or something like that. But then Mother Nature is how you become a fairy. So I guess you have to go on I guess it's not as easy as like becoming a vampire or a spellcaster. Because with vampires, all you have to do is like get bitten And with spellcasters, you just have to like collect a couple magic orbs and deliver them to someone, and bam, boom, bam, they turn you into a spellcaster, ma'am. But this looks like you have to go on a whole quest and like complete tasks for Mother Nature, and then she turns you into a fairy. Seems like a little too much work in my opinion, but you can just also make them increase them. So there is that. I am very curious to try it and see how much work it is. But that's pretty much everything on the pre-order page. It does talk about, the items, but that's pretty much it on the pre-order page. And then, like I said, there was a couple of websites that just had little bits of information I wanted to go over with you guys. Okay, so the first piece of information I wanted to look at online was just this screenshot that was shared over here on Twitter by this user, and I'm pretty sure it's like a screenshot of a Discord post. Like, I'm very new to Discord, but it looks Discord. And under it, we have a picture of Spruce Almighty. So when we saw Spruce Almighty, it was kind of our confirmation that Plant Sims were definitely going to be a part of this pack. They kind of hinted around the fact that Plant Sims might, be a little bit to do with this pack, but they're really keeping it on the down low. But this was kind of confirmation, and this post is telling us all the ways that Plant Sims are going to be improved on in Enchanted by Nature. Now, this excites me but pisses me off. Like, I am very excited that Plant Sims are getting upgraded because I love Plant Sims because, one, they're a base game occult, and two, the concept of Plant Sims have always been really cool to me ever since Sims 3 University. But they've never been a true occult type in The Sims. And they're supposed to come in the base game, so why aren't they upgrading them in the base game for free? Like, I feel like they personally should be giving Plant Sims a free base game update. Of course, they don't want their efforts to go waste and their team to not get paid, so they're going to put it in a pack, but I don't think it should have been put in a pack. I think this is something that shouldn't have been put behind a paywall. As glad as I am to get it, I don't think it should have to be paid for if Plant Sims are a base game occult. I know they're not a proper occult, but they're a cult, okay? But this is what Plant Sims will be approved on in the pack. So the first one is Refreshed Life Force. So this will extend the Plant Sim timer. So I guess when you eat the fruit, you will have longer than just 5 days now. Nature's Breath blooms plants, which I think is something fairies can do. Absorb solar energy on potted and house plants. So I guess it can take away stuff that's making it worse. I don't know exactly what the solar energy is. Plant Sims walk-bys in the world. Okay, this I am really excited for. I'm hoping I wish that was definitely a base game update, though. I would really love in the base game to see Plant Sims walking around the world. But apparently, if you buy the pack, you'll start seeing Plant Sims the world. I wish we could, have Plant Sim babies and, make it a cult type to where if we, ran to a Plant Sim and had a baby with them, that your Sim would become a Plant Sim. But I don't think that's how it's going to work. Poison's Kiss gives the green meanie element, except to the green man. Huh. Okay, so a Poison's Kiss. That's actually kind of fun. Praise for Life performed on Green Man. Is Green Man Spruce Almighty? I would have to assume so. Give forbidden fruit or demand forbidden fruit. Okay, so that's giving us new ways to get the forbidden fruit besides the Plant Sim tree. And being watered boosts their water motives. So a new way to get the water thing up. Okay, that's cool. Oh, it says here, on July 1st, we'll be releasing a base game update that brings new features and improvements and enhanced gameplay experience. While this update won't include any changes to plant sims, the updates will be a part of the Enchanted by Nature expansion pack. What I just said. I was really hoping I was going to be wrong with what I said when I read that, but apparently not. Well, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's pretty much all they say about the plant sims. But there are a couple other things that they have told us about that when it comes to other cults. So pretty much there are a bunch of cross-pack features. And I am sorry I'm on this website. Like, the next 2 pages are going to be this simscommunity.info page. And it's full of ads. And I couldn't find these articles anywhere else yet. So I do apologize. But it's the only place that has all this information that I found. I just can't stand all the ads. But it is EA reveals cross-pack features in The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature. So this is pretty much how fairies and the gameplay from this pack is going to cross over with other packs. And I always think the more crossover, the better, because that gives you more gameplay. If you're spending more money on more packs, you should have more options than the other people that pay less than you. I hate to say it that way. It'd be like, but you get your money's worth in life. And even if you're like cheating it and getting it for cheaper, you're still buying the content or finding a way to download the content. If you're spending the time to get the content or the money to get the content, you should have more than someone that just has the base game, which I know is EA's total money grabber. So probably a bunch of people will disagree with me. But I do think the more cross features packs have, the better. And they've been doing a lot better over the last couple years, including more cross feature packs. And this time they're including a lot. So with Cottage Living, Fairy Sims will be able to instantly fulfill animals' needs. If you have cats and dogs installed, you'll be able to instantly heal them as well. Same with horses, I'm pretty sure. There are more Sims, including fairies, interactions between werewolves, vampires, and even mermaids. So, let's go through and read exactly everything, because that was just kind of the preview. So, if you have The Sims 4 Horse Ranch, Cottage Living, Cats and Dogs, Fairy Sims can nurture nature and fulfill animals' needs and instantly cure sick cats and dogs. So that's really helpful. So if you have a pet, you don't have to take them to the vet anymore. You can just straight up cure them with magic. In addition, there are so many ways Fairy Sims connect with occult sim counterparts. With werewolf game packs, fairies can soothe werewolves and bring their fury back to zero and return them to their sim form, which is super helpful because if there's just like a rampaging werewolf just in the bar that you don't want to deal with, bam, gone. And with Vampire Game Pack, fairies can remove vampirism from vampire sims to return them to their natural sim self. So that's actually kind of huge, because before, the only way to not be a vampire was like make this whole elixir. Like you had to get like level 10 mixology, get a certain recipe, and then make it and then drink it, and then you turn back into a regular sim. Now you can just have a fairy do it for you. And fairy sims can also hydrate and top off the needs of mermaids and plant sim friends with the Island Living expansion pack and base game, because plant sims are base game. But that's kind of cool that you can hydrate other sims. That's kind of fun. I wasn't expecting that one. All right. It looks like with Island Living, werewolves, and vampires, you can use the apothecary crafting to create an elixir that refills all the needs instantly for occult sims. That's pretty cool. So there's specifically an elixir for occult sims. And then with spellcasters, sims who have a bad experience with magic feel unsettled. If you have realm of magic, sims may get even paranoid when near spellcasters or other occult sims, because they have the fear by magic trait. or fear by magic, something. I guess it's a fear of, not fear of magic. Sorry, it's not fear a. That was misreading. But apparently we have a new fear of magic for Sims that are magical, which is fun. And apparently there's also going to be a bunch of new Simlish tracks performed by people that are apparently well known that I don't know about. But it kind of goes here into all the people who are joining in on the track. So we got FKA Twigs, Perfume Genius, Florence Rowe, Big Pig, Remy Bonds, Saya Gray, Mystery Carlin, and Rowan Solers, and So Radio. I don't know. I've never heard of any of those Sims, but I haven't heard of most of the song singers that sing in Simlish, music artists. I don't know. Most of them I have never heard of, honestly. Like, every time they do this big concert thing, it's like very rare I know any of the people, and when I do, it's not people I'm interested in. Sims 3, I knew more of the music in, but Sims 4, not really. But that's kind of it for this article, and we have one last article I want to look at, and that's the one that came out today, and that is the new world map. So this is kind of a picture of what the world looks like. It obviously without the text and whatnot, but look how magical that looks over there in the fairy-esque world, and the beautiful water. I do wish the land was a little bit bigger, but it says the latest Sims 4 patch just released a first look at the Sims 4 Enchanted by World Map. The new world is called Innisgreen and is an Irish-inspired world coming exclusively with the newest EP. The first look without lot previews of Innisgreen world map is down below. So it's not a full-on map, but it is showing us what it's going to look like. So obviously they haven't placed down the lots, so we can't really see exactly how many lots there are. But just going off of the blank spaces, I would say there's at least 4 lots in the fairy world. And then at least, this could be a lot too. I was going to say 3, but maybe 4 here and 4 here. So I do know there's at least 12 lots because there's 3 creators. There's either 3 creators creating 4 lots or 4 creators creating 3 lots. I can't remember. So I know we already knew there was at least 12 lots. But if there are no other lots besides those 12 lots, then that means there's no blank lots. Which I know some people would be really excited about, but I'm a huge fan of blank lots. I hate bulldozing other lots, unless I absolutely have to, which a lot of times I do end up having to, but I would rather not bulldoze a lot if I didn't have to. I don't know, but that's just mixed emotions about that. But obviously this is kind of like the fairy-esque world. This is like the regular Sim world with the gnome statue, and this is going to be like the middle ground world. And it looks like the fairy world or the fairy neighborhood. This is all one world. The fairy neighborhood is the biggest, which I didn't expect. I thought the fairy neighborhood would actually be the smallest. But that's just my opinion. I kind of wish we could see what lot was going where, but it is a good first look at the world. But on that note, that is pretty much all the information we have outside of the patch that came out today. So I'm trying to find, I guess this page has less ads. I will be making a video over the patch very soon. That'll be the next video that comes out. And then I have already recorded week 1 of the event, and I was going to make a video on its own, and then literally I wasn't able to finish it till last night because of the whole not having internet thing and everything getting messed up and me having to do the build for it. So I have week 1 and week 2 coming, so I'll probably record week 2 in the next day or two, and then combine week 1 and week 2 as one longer video. It'll also be kind of longer because we're doing introductions and showing off the house. But then I also have a build video coming for the house that we're playing with. And I kind of explain this as I'm going through the first week of the video, but I do it on separate days, and it just, like, circumstances kept changing. Like, I was totally planning on making it its own video, and then, like, I didn't have the internet. I've already gone on about this in my last Pride Month video, so I won't go on about it anymore, but just know that is coming. I didn't just forget about the free event. Like, I am playing it. I just decided, since it's so close to week 2, like, because week 2 came out today. A bunch of stuff came out. So, the patch, the event, a lot of stuff. First, I'm going to talk about the patch. And then we're going to jump into week 1 and week 2 of the event. And that's kind of my schedule that I have planned for the next couple of videos. Unless something exclusively messes up, which y'all know, sometimes it happens to me. More than sometimes, but oh well. Anyway, guys, I hope you are enjoying this content. I have some more content coming out for other packs still. I also have a couple series going on. And of course, I will be doing a ton of review videos on the Enchanted by Nature pack, as well as a series that is going to have a main character as a fairy. That's going to be a pretty fun and interesting series. But that's going to be where I end this one, guys. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff, because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.